Hi, Nick Farrow here with the third lesson in a set of 3. The first was how to make negative sentences, and then we had yes-no questions. And if you've already studied these two, then this lesson on WH questions should be easy enough. If you need to, you can go back to the other lessons in the set. And this is a long lesson, so we've put it into 2 parts. Now, making questions can be quite complicated in English, and WH questions become quite confusing for many language learners. So let's begin the lesson with a quick review of how negative sentences and yes-no questions are formed. But first, we need to check some vocabulary that I'm going to be using. First, I want to contrast the be verb, I am, you are, it is, they are, and what I call general verbs, such as walk, eat, and think. When we make questions, these two are very different. Next, we have auxiliary verbs or modal verbs. These are not quite the same, but they are similar because they both help to change the main verb meaning in a sentence. I will often call them helping verbs. Okay, next a quick review of the previous lessons. And we're going to start with how people give short answers to yes-no questions. Here's one. Is she your sister? Yes, she is, or no, she isn't. Can he drive a truck? Yes, he can. No, he can't. Did you eat breakfast? Do you like bananas? Well, the key point here is that the helping verbs which begin the questions are also the same ones used in the answers. In the first case, it's the be verb, and the other 3 are helping verbs, can, did, and do. Understanding these helping verbs becomes very important when you study questions. Now we go on to making negative sentences. You can see that the word not appears after the first verb in every sentence. The first one is a be verb, and then we have questions using helping verbs with general verbs. And the not is appearing after the helping verbs. On to yes-no questions. To change a be verb sentence to a yes-no question, the be verb goes before the subject. That's very simple. And in a similar way with the general verbs, only the helping verb goes before the subject. There's the pattern. Is she, can he, did John, do they? Let's move on. Okay, we're ready to start the main lesson about WH questions. And first, we need some WH question words. How many can you think of? I have a list here. What, where, who, when, why, which, and how. And then we also need some WH phrases. Do you have any ideas? Here's one. How long is a WH phrase. How long will you be away? Do you know any others? Well, here are some more to have a look at. One important point I want to show here is the intonation with the WH questions. It goes down at the end. Listen, how long will you be away? How much does it cost? What color do you like? What kind of food do you like? Which movie did you see? How many people are there in your family? Of course, if you think of a question like, what's your name? You don't say, what's your name? You say, what's your name? That's a WH question. It goes down at the end. The yes-no questions go up at the end. It's good not to confuse those patterns. Let's move on. Okay. In the lesson on yes-no questions, our reporter Joe King interviewed Angela Andrews, a famous movie star. But that interview was cut short because the actress had a party. Well, he's back to try again to get a complete interview with her. Of course, this time he will only be asking WH questions. So read through to understand it all. This is really important. Don't rush. You will need to stop the video for each page. And then let's look for the question patterns afterwards. Here we go, page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. And finished. Okay, that's it. You might notice on this page here, Joe says why on his second question. It's not a complete WH question, it's cut short. He probably meant, why did you ask me the time? Also, if you go back to the third slide, he says, how old were you when you met? Be careful, when you met is not a question form. It's only putting that time in focus. So you should continue. We're going to continue and see the interview again. And each page we're going to stop and highlight the questions. Okay. We have 2 WH questions here. The first one is in the simple past, and that's not the topic of this part. That's in part 2. But the second one is about right now. What are we talking about today? The question has a be helping verb, so that will be a focus point. Next page. And we have 3 questions, again in the simple past tense for the second part of the lecture. The last 2 are general verbs with a be helping verb. We want to know how to make those questions. She was 18 when she met him. That's a be verb, and that's our target. Next, simple past tense, and then the simple present tense. Those are for later. One more page. And all these questions are in today's study. Her husband can cook anything, so we need a helping verb plus verb question. And that comes out as, what can he cook? You'll notice the third question is not complete, but we'll do that another time. And the last one uses the must helping verb. She must go. Why must you go so soon? So that's our target. That's all. And we're going to focus now on how to make the questions. Right, let's take a look. If you studied the previous lessons, you will remember that changing the be verb sentences was quite easy. It's the same for yes-no questions. The yes-no question is made by moving the be verb before the subject. In this case, the topic is a pen. And this topic becomes the WH word, what. And that goes before the be verb. Here's the pattern. WH plus be verb plus subject. What is that? Here are some examples, starting with the yes-no question pattern. Is he your friend? Topic is your friend. Person, who. It goes at the front. One more, a little bit strange, but same pattern. That's it. So we have a yes-no question plus WH at the start. That's how we make the WH questions. Okay, wake up, we're moving on. Now, when you make the questions, be sure to focus on the topic of the question, which is in bold letters for these purposes. For example, the focus of this sentence is who someone is, someone's sister. So the question is, who is that? Okay, we've got quite a few ones for you to practice on now. Here is your chance to do some practice so that you can get the pattern fixed. You can pause the video to check them all, and then I will give the answers, or actually I will give the questions. Okay, here we go. Number 1 could have several questions, but the most simple is, who is he? Otherwise, you could say, who is that guy over there? According to the situation. Number 2 also has one or two possibilities. It could be, what's this? Or, what's that? Number 3, where are the boys? Number 4, why was Jack cold? Number 5, when is the meeting? 6, what time is it? 7, how are you? 8, what's her name? Or, what's that woman's name? Number 9, why are they tired? We now look at the questions with helping verbs. Here comes a standard sentence and the yes-no question form with the helping verb in front of the subject. That's not a be verb, that's a be helping verb. It's helping go to change meaning. Now you see the WH part in front of the helping verb, and you can see it's the topic of the question, equal to home. Let's see the pattern in some more examples. There's the WH talking about curry, that's the topic now. And one more. And the last one, and that requires a long WH phrase. What kind of? What kind of sport can he play? WH, first verb, and so on. Every kind, every example. Okay, let's look at an example here. Simple example. Now we can see that this boy is eating something and we want to know what it is. We won't put the yes-no stage, just straight into the WH question. What is he eating? The answer is chicken, by the way. Now we have some practice with the general verbs supported by helping verbs. So pause the video and try these out before I give the answers or questions. There may be more than one possible question for some of these. When I give them, please repeat the questions as I say them, and that will help your learning process. Okay, here we go. Number one, what can he cook? Or in the case of the interview, what can your husband cook? Number two, when will Bill and Ken come? 3. What are you drinking? 4. What color should Bill paint it? 5. Which cities in Japan has she visited? 6. What time are they arriving? 7. How much will a new printer cost? 8. How fast can the new train travel? 9. What kind of room would you like, sir? 10. Where should I have turned? So you might need to imagine the situation, but most of them I think are clear. Of course, number 9 would be somebody in a hotel staff taking a reservation. Number 10 must be 2 people in a car and somebody took the wrong turning. Okay. Take a break. That's the end of this part. The second part gets a little more difficult, but I think you should be ready for it. And when it's all done, your English power should be way up. Thanks for listening.